We pick our next person.
Hayley.
Who?
Hayley.
Oh, yes, that's right. So let's turn to Hayley's poem.
I think should I sing this song?
Yes. Yes.
It's called A Different Kind of Friend. It's the poem.
There it is.
Yeah, great. A glimmer of remembrance. A splash of wonder. And there you are, my friend. Full of joy and inspiration, you weave through my mind. Mirages swirling around you. Making your way across the regions within. Sparking old delights as you pass. Gratitude thrones in your wake. So bright, you illuminate me and light up my inner world. I've forgotten what childlike wonder felt like. Like a wave, you bring it all back. The colors burst fresh in my eyes. I can breathe easy once more. Your presence transforms every encounter. Now, everywhere I look, I see life. And death doesn't scare me anymore. You stir my creativity, igniting what had grown stagnant. You flow through each movement. You play the keys of my soul, directing thought, emotion, affection. I just have to listen to you. And loud or quiet, I can feel you. Your rhythm is not sound. You are happy humility. You remind me that freedom chooses balance, and you chose the right one. And when you rest, your dance takes the form of a whisper. You settle like a butterfly in the sun. Would you stay this time, residing in my heart? I don't want to live dully again.
Thank you very much. Very well paced with the song too.
Well, the song, I could have even drawn it out more because the song is long enough for that.
Yeah, no, I really like that pacing. It gave time to breathe between everything instead of like trying to keep up and imagine what you're saying. I would ask, I want you to explain, you remind me that freedom chooses bounds. Because I can see that, but I don't know which bounds.
Yeah, I left it vague purposefully. And this, to be honest, when I wrote the poem, I wasn't like, I didn't have a concept or idea in mind. It just came to me, so the definition can be, it's kind of upper interpretation. So what bounds those are, I couldn't just tell you right now.
Which bounds are
Yeah.
based on what they resonate.
Yeah, I didn't come prepared to give like a definition of the poem or specific lines that I said, but I can definitely think about it more. I think sometimes I need to take more thoughtful consideration of my poem after I've written it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That line in particular makes me think of from the psalm. Is it? It's not 23, is it? Where it says, "You set my boundary lines in blessed places," or something like that. Yeah.
I was thinking that you Nash's book series and the horse comparing the horse being broken into the legends.
Okay, yeah.
You know, being confined and having your what is it, the chain or the
Something like that, yeah. Being a blind side.
Yes, yes. Funnily enough, I think what a lot of this poem reminds me of, and I think there's reasons that the Little Prince, and like this could almost be from the perspective of the pilot and his interaction with the. You read that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought. Yeah. I know obviously the context even at this end was with the father, but I think what I like so much about the Little Prince and what this poem reminds me of is there are just so many different aspects of the spirit. It's impossible to encapsulate them all in one poem.
Mm-hmm.
And this one just highlights a very precious slice of the spirit to me.
Yep.
Because it's one that is full of childlike joy and wonder and creativity and life. And I think with your song choice and the language that you use, you express that very beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny, just the way you write it. You're quite young yourself, but it appears as though like it was written by someone very, very aged and then was taken back to a point in childhood. And so I applaud you on that because you seem far beyond your years just with the way you wrote this. But I'm very reminded of, I guess in a way, how the spirit can sometimes be like the Little Prince in that way. This small little ball of sunshine that brings life to dead things and melts the hearts of those who are calloused and gives color to the world of grown-ups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you defined it very well because I did, after discovering it, I did feel as if it's kind of a facet of the Holy Spirit, but it's a very particular part of it that when I was listening to the song, thinking about what to write a poem about, that's what I thought of. It's just that life-bringing, you described it better than I could.
I love that, and I love as well that you read that book. I'm sure the inspiration was partly, just part of, even in your creative process, we pull from things we don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And both The Prince and The Seedling were two of my favorite things about that book. And so I really appreciate the inspiration I can see in that, whether it was intentional or not. So very well done.
Thank you.
Also, I'm a big fan of the song. Isaac would love to send you that.
Yeah, the whole album that song comes from is really good.
I'll get to check out the rest of it. I like this one.
I was wondering if I should have shut the window, but the bird song was good for it.
I don't know if I'll be able to express this well, because it kind of hit me in a way I wasn't expecting. Like, my own personal being is in a little bit of a raw spot, and so I'm not surprised that it caught me in that way. But like, I got this like hang of jugs a little bit, like how free that this, and I'm with you. That's how it struck me. It was a freedom of the spirit that you touched on, and then in my heart, I was kind of like, is this something? Sure, I'm asking you. Is this something you've tasted, and it kind of goes in and out, or is this like a settlement? You've settled here. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just asking.
I think it was more something that I tasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, this is what God offers us. And I think that's why it struck me. You know, it's such a deep place. Like, thank you. This is the kind of thing that brings life. And I think that's why it struck me so much. Like, I want that space so badly. That full settlement there. But thank you for sharing.
I was gonna say what Dan said, that every time you read your poetry, I just start to see like all these colors in my head, and like I get a perfect image of what you're trying to explain. And it kind of like you said, restores the life to whatever you're trying to explain. It's really, really well done. Isn't there a part in The Little Prince where like they go to the city and it's like there's no colors, or it's like really dim or something? I can't remember, but I like saw that with color. It's good.
You also encapsulate friendship very well in the first half of the poem. Like, you going through that, I was getting distracted because I have a lot of friends and we're all working a lot. And I was like, I want to talk to him again. It does give that yearning.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be kind of repeating stuff that's already been said, because it definitely also hit me in that same kind of way of like, I felt like I was very much like in agreement with everything you said. Like, while you were reading it, it was just like, yes, to every line. And I hate being kind of emotional about stuff sometimes, but it just...
Welcome.
Yeah. It's very powerful. And I... It's amazing to me to see the art. And you know, you guys know that we just got back from Spain. And I felt this heart the whole time. And it is something that I'm like in and out still. But it feels like it's right there.
Praise God.
And so I'm just grateful that he's doing that in our hearts. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Something about writing poetry to music helps me to write from a deeper place. So for this this time around, it took me a while to find a song or to find a poem to a song. I guess because I was just struggling to find that inner place that for some reason I feel like I need to. It just music, when I'm doing it with music, I just feel like it draws it out of me. So it's like all or nothing with when I'm doing a poem to music. So I was just listening to a bunch of different music songs, and this was actually, I had recently found the song. And only after, like we were driving to Granny's when we were listening to it, when I was sharing some of them that I was thinking about writing a poem to with my sisters and mom because we were going to work. And only after they had shared some of their thoughts when they were listening to the song along with me was I able to come up with this idea. Isabel was talking about memory and stuff like that. So I started it with kind of like remembrance of something. So that's why I think of this as something that I've tasted, that I want to be able to live in consistently.
Turning to what Kim had said, or her question that she asked you about, is this something that you have experienced versus is something that you're settled in? At the end there, you make that pretty well known when you say, would you stay this time residing in my heart? I don't want to live dully again. The one thing I can say confidently about the poem is that it very well reflects a pattern in your life that's very evident to all of us, I think. I wouldn't say it's like a back and forth of like trying to stay in this place as long as you can and then not being able to, but it's like it's like a combination between a gentleness and a boldness to never stop seeking that place, to never give up on pursuing the person, the friend in this case. So this was kind of already either directly or indirectly said by several others now, but this poem reflects you quite a bit, and the sort of light and pattern example that your life is. And even by saying example, I'm not saying simply just from like all of the accomplishments or success in your own character and what is demonstrated from that, but I'm talking about the whole thing that we are all aware of, just including the struggles and the inner conflicts that you have, that you've shared with us and been vulnerable about. The same rhythm that is evident in your life through those things is the rhythm that this poem is playing out very well, even with the song. So yeah, this poem encapsulates you pretty well. It's very beautiful. Anyone else? Who do we have left?
Me and Hattie, I believe.
Just two? Nice. All right. It's kind of tough to pick the last two people.
Oh, it's up to me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Okay, well, I'll go with Hattie's wish.
Harry, that means you're gonna be the finishing act.
Yeah,
That's
so
even
we're
more
gonna say best for last.
That means we're gonna have an entire class just for your poem.
Again.
At least.
At least I never reached out to me about it, so I don't even know what she did.
I think she was implying that she did do one. Doing so right before the news left. Okay, I guess we can ask.
Oh, it's great.
What's it
It's
called?
titled Us and Them.
And I don't think I could play the song with the poem, but maybe you could just play it after I like.
Play like the instrumental version or something.
I just want to love it.
Would flow.
What was my favorite?
Yeah.
After.
Do you need me to send it to you?
If you don't want to play, then no.
I just figure maybe after when people are sharing their thoughts, it could just be
Oh, yeah, that's
set on in the background.
Yeah, that's fine.
Try to send it off after.
I might just play it anyways. So.
I didn't realize that was C418, that makes sense.
What was that one called?
It's actually called Cinnamon Park.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, there's like 9 art students.
Yeah.
Love the album cover, it fits very well.
Let's see it.
Everybody there?
Yes.
In the great confusion, our paths meet. Nothing special or unique about us. We do what we are told, but why? The army keeps marching on, and we follow. But the wind is not kind, and the storm rages before you. The glass between our worlds grow foggy, and the lines of right and wrong disappear in the sand. Weapons of those who we once loved, now set against the wall that trap us. We become like them, cut by the blade, but yet to be healed. And our hearts turn, like the gravel we walk on. Hate and love are blurred. It poisoned us. So we lay on this hill in which we will die. Time moves slowly, and the book comes to an end, surrounded by the way we fell into, dying from the smoke we breathed in. And as I sat, I realized that the war was always me and you, us and them.
Thank you very much. Is the song and its lyrics similar to the theme you write about here, or is it not really?
It's slightly inspired by the song. The song was written about like war and like the meaninglessness of it.
That's kind of what
And
I've never heard the song before. I haven't read the lyrics, but that's kind of what I'm getting from the
Yeah.
poem too. It's like this. I can't really explain it that well right now, but like it's the coupled inevitability of and like meaninglessness of conflict.
I had kind of written it. Before we were assigned this was a song that I was listening to a lot because I liked the words. But it made me think of more than just like war in general, but the way that we treat each other and how when you are treated a certain way, it's like the saying, hurt people hurt people. And when you fall into that pathway of letting your hurt consume you, you become just like the people who hurt you, and that way has to come to death. And that's why I put it in like the visual of going to war and dying
I see, yeah.
in that.
It sounds like a good line letter. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the original Pink Floyd song, and I think that the meaning of the song and the title of your poem, it feels like the meanings are very synonymous there, because even while describing the original song, war and whatnot, the entire concept, at least I draw from the song, is similar to what you're saying, with there being an us, and there being an them, and that is how not just war, but conflict in almost all things starts. It's when it no longer becomes a we. It's no longer a togetherness. There's an us group and a them group. And if you are part of the them group, you are not a part of the us, you know? And that's something that humans, I would say, is almost natural to our nature to do. You know, there's unfortunately a very true saying, is nothing unites people quite like hate does. And I would say that hate is something that our flesh does far too easily and far too subtly if we assume ourselves immune to it. The us and them mindset is far beyond just like actual visibly external conflicts, but it's this mental categorization that you can even do within your own brain that isolates either yourself or others far too easily. And so the actual lyrics, I'm still trying to figure out at least exactly, because they are, I would imagine, very personal to you, just in terms of some of the language, the allegories you're using. But I feel, just based on the song you chose and the title you chose for your poem, that is along the lines of what you're trying to speak about. Yeah.
Could you explain, like, now that I've heard these thoughts and kind of understand them a little more, could you explain what you mean by the line, "We do what we're told, but why"? That was kind of trying to figure out a good way to explain it. It's like growing up with a certain mindset, and like it's just kind of the way that things are. You do them because they're the right way, or because that's what you were told by somebody else. And I think a lot of times in certain things, we have to question ourselves why we think a certain way, or why certain thoughts mean so much to us, or certain things that people say. Kind of why does that mean something?
So it's kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
Yeah, the others have said it well, but yeah, war and doing what you're told, you very much become just a microcosm of the great and terrible thing that is happening. You become an instrument of it. You can easily inflict it yourself.
I also thought it was interesting, the contrast of what the us and them, and then all the lines that you're talking about. There's kind of this blurring of definitions and boundaries. it's like when you create something that wasn't meant to be there, like you create a definition that's not real, then everything else kind of seems to know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you're able to draw that line and dehumanize something so you can enable you and others to try and destroy it. Once that system is in play, anyone can do it. You can be dehumanized. That is the great and terrible, unnecessary, brutal, but cycle of war. It is a lot easier to, it's pretty hard to define yourself and decide what you stand for. It's really easy to say you are not something else, you see.
That was kind of the way that I wrote it, because that's actually a lot of what you said, Corbin. Like, you think because you try so hard not to be this way by this person that hurts you, you become a lot like them, because if you're not healed in that right way, there's not really a lot that can help you.
Yeah, for a long time I was in a mirror of things in my life and what happened to me. And it's something you only realize, and only with hindsight, you need to step away. As long as you're submerged in it, you can't see it. Just like, if you're underwater, you don't see water. Everything's underwater with you. Once you are out and you can look at it, only then is there any kind of clarity.
Yeah, it's choosing not to become a victim to the circumstance.
You need to be more than what has happened to you.
This is kind of a silly thought, but when you say the book comes to an end, it almost makes me imagine that this poem could even be kind of the summary of some tragic story of the me and you. There's two characters who grow hate between them, and then they're almost like two different sides that end up warring against each other. But I think it's intentional on your part, and even if it wasn't, it's meaningful that you don't ever talk about what actually makes the war what it is, what actually divides. Like, you don't talk about what it was that, why are they conflicting? Why are they against each other? It's just the fact that it is us against each other. It kind of shows that the reason behind it isn't really what's important. It's a lot smaller than what it became.
Yeah, that's kind of how you explained it, but definitely see it as like the system of the world and the fruit that it produces. It's pretty much, it ends in the same cycle. It's kind of sad.
But it's up to us to break that cycle.
Right.
I was going to say, just because it is very much a system of a world, I think it's even better put as a system that's within man. So just because to not us and them it, right? Like we can so easily do. Like, we are different than the world. Let's not forget that the world is very much within us. And that us and them is something that we are just as capable and vulnerable to doing, just as the world may be.
Yeah, that's kind of how I wrote it too, was to be like, in the beginning, the characters were united and they weren't like everybody else. But they fell into that same exact way that they were not in the beginning.
Yeah, no, I'm able to see the we do what we're told, how it fits into the rest of the poem, because it's like, it's kind of that going through the motions that leads to the division. It's like I almost see it as like you're not truly loving somebody, but you're doing the actions of loving them, where later it says love and hate are blurred. Because you're doing the kind things, but you don't feel it in your heart. You're like, why am I doing this? And when you said, we become like that, cut by the blade, but yet to be healed, I was expecting, like I hadn't read this poem yet, I was almost expecting there to be the healing. And then that's the only time you mentioned the yet to be healed. You do a lot of, the more that I'm thinking about this, you do a lot of implying, because you're implying that this can be avoided, you're implying that this can be healed, you're implying that the thing that started it all didn't need to divide them in this way. It's really cool. So a lot you can say, and I want to learn how to do this better, to say things without actually saying them. It's really cool, especially in a poem.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting that you say, because I also was thinking of it as like there wasn't a lot of resolve. But then after thinking about it for a second, the last line, when whoever is narrating says, I sat and I realized the war was always me and you guys, and then that there could be the healing. Because there's like
There's recognition.
yeah. And it almost feels like, it's a little bit of a dark picture, but almost like these two are, passed away pretty much. And like one of them is explaining to the other, this is why we fell into this way. But so there was kind of like a healing of like, this is why. And like they were able to see a pattern. It's interesting. Yeah.
I wonder if like we could translate this into like a different kind of death. Like I keep seeing it as like this is probably it's probably sad to say this, but we can probably all see this as even like siblings. What can happen if we're not careful because of the familiarity. But this poem can symbolize that we can die we can die in that war and then be able to realize we don't need to be against each other,
Yeah, that's what I wrote it as. It was the dying to that way. But I didn't want it to seem like it wasn't still a hard thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's appropriate, but the funniest shorthand I have for that is like every conflict starts with the thought of just, hey, you're not me. And it's all just escalation of that.
I'm thinking a lot about those last two stanzas and wanting to put my thoughts together in a coherent way. Just one thing I came across some video, I don't even remember exactly what it was all about, but the last part, this lady was talking about, you will inevitably have division between yourself and others if you truly believe in something, because you are automatically divided from others who don't believe in the same thing you do. And the way she backed that up was quoting Jesus saying, "I did not come to bring peace but a sword." How he even talked about how he was going to divide between brother, sister, father, mother, whatever it was, friend. So division isn't just this unfortunate thing. It is actually designed by God. And that's really kind of a sobering fact. Because the narrative usually with things like love being the answer, brotherly love, all those sorts of things, is that there shouldn't be any division at all, and everyone should just embrace everyone as an equalizing sense. But unfortunately, it's a little more complicated than that. But not in such a way where we want to use that fact to justify the way we think and the way we believe, because then that just also kind of goes against the manner in which we are to live what we believe and to live out the life we have been given. Because I would, with the same confidence, say that in another sense, yes, actually love is the answer. But not in this shallow, all-embracing sense that it's usually given. So when you say those last lines, as I sat, I realized the war was always me and you, us and them. This is where I'm having some trouble describing my impression about that. Because yes, the source of conflict certainly comes from what we were all just talking about, that like involuntary distinction we make between our own individual selves or our own tribe, if you will, versus everyone else. And I think that like 99% of the time comes with a pretty healthy dose of ignorance on the first person side when it comes to distinguishing, because usually that distinction comes from actually a very significant lack of understanding and knowledge of the other group. Mm-hmm. And so the distinction shouldn't be one that comes from thinking you understand what makes you different merely from the other group. Those things will be evident enough to you, I think, and you can't just forget about them either. Because yeah, there are very striking cultural differences between different groups. Where you eventually get to like conflict of interest and stuff. So maybe you both want something that you can't both have, or there's a way that you do something that seems to take away from or negatively impact another group. You know, those kind of conflicts. The best thing I can come up with to say is that those differences shouldn't be something you impose on the person, on the individual, but it should be a matter of learning to see things from a cultural point of view, I guess. So being able to understand the person and the way they live as two different things, not being the same thing. Seeing that in yourself and in other people. So I think as a result of that, you're able to be, I guess in the way some people put it, a lot more human towards other people. I'm thinking of this in large part in the context of that scripture we often quote when it comes to any kind of even like interpersonal conflict we encounter. The scripture being we're not battling against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. But I think included principalities and powers, you're talking about certain cultures, yeah. And so if you're able to engage, at least be one of the people that can engage with certain situations and conflicts and people from that point of view, then I think all you're able to do effectively from that point is love properly. Because that's the only dimension, if you will, that you're able to actually do something in that realm. If it's a matter of addressing the person, their faults, and their unreasonable behavior, anything that they've done that doesn't make sense or seems wrong, then you're always going to end up in this kind of situation, breathing in that smoke which is killing you both. Acting in the way that everybody's always acted, you don't ever question that. So I guess the real question would be, how do you learn to see things from that cultural point of view? I would say it begins with knowing how to love other people first.
Yeah, that's exactly what actually the Lord's been teaching me recently. Was that is the way, I even think that like the way of forgiving somebody in something they did, even if they don't like regret it or something. It's gonna be the love that you show them or have towards them that is what kind of resolves it in your own heart.
Yeah. One thought I've had along that, and I don't want to take it too much longer, but it's on the issue of fault. Like, whose fault is it? I think circumstantial faults exist, but when it comes to ultimate fault, who can you actually blame at the end of the day? Because a person's behavior and patterns of life that they develop comes from the kind of environment that they've been raised in, inevitably. There's not just like some magical, unexplainable thing that was conjured up and then it's always a result of, cause and effect. It's very much a cascading of things. And so you can say to someone like, well, it's because of how he was raised. Well, how about how his parents were raised to be the way they are, to make him the way he is? How far back can you go? It goes back. We say to the Garden of Eden with the original sin. So that kind of fault and its judgment never belongs to us. That's a really important thing to register in ourselves first. And I think that at least partly paves the way to being able to love other people with what has become pretty widely known as brotherly love or agape love, which again we know is not a feeling of affection as much as it is acting and responding to things from a much higher place of being and living. That definitely is not swayed by emotion. Anyways, this is kind of a bigger, more involved subject, but it was just, your poem got me thinking a lot about it. And so thank you for that, at least. And I think you did a really good job. Well, it's getting a little late in the next, so.